Okay, so we're back with more Void Stranger lore, and I'm outside where the moon's shining and the stars are out. But anyways, so let's talk about how Gore got separated from her head. Well, it actually does state that Gore was actually decapitated by Odd when she was still in the void. Well, before she went radio silent and just watched from a distance. Well, what happened was when the war was going on, she had decapitated Gore with her sword and then went to Tan's realm and left the sword in Tan's memory. This could be when Tan was not slain, but weakened to the point where it was just sleeping. It was in like a stasis. But when you get the sword, that's when Tan wakes up. I do believe Tan was also one of the Void Lords that was created through forbidden means. There's 3 of them technically. I do believe one of them was Tan. I think the other was Lev was the 3rd one, and then I think Mon was the 2nd one. I'm trying to remember which one was created through the 2nd one that was created through forbidden means. But that would explain why the sword ended up where it did and why Gore knows a lot about the incident, because Tan and Gore are very similar. The closest of the, kind of like how B is very close to Sif and Lev is very close to Mon, and Odd was really close to Lev, which is, I'm trying to think if that's right. Yeah, it kind of sounds right. They're all close to each other one way or another, but it seemed like they were really close to somebody else too. But more importantly, though, if you think about it, it's still kind of debatable why Gore's body was dumped in the white void and Lev's corpse is at the end. It's possible that this is a whole nother video, but I'm still looking into it. But I'm thinking that might have been Lev's original domain before you had Lev's current domain, because for some strange reason it was just, that's where Lev was before she died, and this was before Sif came into the whole picture. Not to mention, what's weird is if you get voided, there's a Sif statue that prevents you from going into that section. So it's possible that, there's already evidence to believe that the whole reason why Lev did what she did was because Sif came into the picture, because she was envious of Odd picking Sif over her. And before Sif was created, Odd was the one that looked up to Lev. And that's why, and I've seen what envious natures do to people, and it makes perfect sense why Lev lost control of her life to the point where this whole thing turned out like this happened to her. So she faked her death, or she died and then came back, but she needed Mon to resurrect her so that way they could carry out the plan that they did. And being that she was the last one there, well, she wasn't dead, she was just in a different form, so her conscience was still aware of what was going on. And you'll figure out why that is if you get the Dis route ending. But the white void has to be like some kind of void that was just left over. It was completely changed because the void itself was disoriented when Lev started when Odd started to leave, and everybody was fighting each other. It wasn't the same as it used to be, whatever that might have meant. So hopefully that kind of explains a little bit more.